Did you know that the world is richer today than it was a few years ago? It's true. According to Credit Suisse Research Institute, global wealth rose by $14 trillion in 2018. That is almost a 5% increase from the year before. But still, it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like anything has changed for the better. Instead, it's like the harder we try, the harder things become. Nowadays, having a job is not enough. You just must have a side hustle. You work 9 to 5, then you need to have something on the side just so you can afford the life you really want. It's exhausting. Even though there's more money in the world today, the cost of living is also much higher. For example, in 1985, you could exchange $1 for 7 naira. Today, it's 360 naira to the dollar. In 1981, you could buy a crate of Coca-Cola for 2 naira. Today, a 35cl crate is going for about 950 naira. And that's just for food. Think about the cost of renting or buying a house and how much that has gone up as well. The naira has grown much weaker over the years, partly due to the effects of inflation. We talk about money so much because, duh, it's money. We can't seem to get enough of it to live the life we really want to. I think about this so much and it has my head turning on its own. So I have a question. Are millennials poor? Before we go any further, who is a millennial? Because I know many people get it wrong often. They think a millennial is anyone who is young and knows how to operate a smartphone. That's not it. A millennial is anyone born between 1980 and 2000. So the oldest millennial today would be 39 and the youngest 18 or 19. This age range makes up the bulk of Nigeria's population. And when I ask if millennials are poor, what do I mean? Do I mean they are so broke they can't afford to buy clothes or feed themselves? Or do I mean they are so broke they can't afford to pay attention? Okay, seriously. What I really mean is, are millennials able to afford a comfortable life in Nigeria? Can they afford to feed themselves and pay for their housing without parental support? Do they make enough money to save for a rainy day? Do they have enough to take care of their families in the face of emergencies? How do we answer all these questions? Let's find out. Number 1, standard of living. According to Investopedia, a standard of living is the level of wealth, comfort, material goods and necessities available to a certain group of people. A good way to measure standard of living is GDP per capita at purchasing power parity, PPP. Hold on, I'll explain. GDP per capita at PPP is simply the value of all the goods and services produced in a country within a given year. And when you look at the world rankings for this, Nigeria comes in at 130 out of 185. And that's not all. If you measure the standard of living by Human Development Index, HDI, which the United Nations uses to determine social and economic development, then you will find out that Nigeria ranks at, wait for it, 157 out of 189 countries. That's bad. Number 2, income and employment rates. Are there enough jobs in Nigeria? And are there enough young people making good money? The answer is no. Although there are no indicators of the average personal income in Nigeria, using the GDP per capita at PPP that I mentioned before is a good way to determine the income level of Nigerians. And on the average, it's roughly $6,000 per person, well below Angola, the Republic of Congo, and Ghana. To add extra pepper to the stew, the youth unemployment rate was last reported at 36.5%, after reaching an all-time high of 38% earlier in 2018. Then there's a small matter of minimum wage. Think about it. The minimum wage was officially 18,000 naira until a few months ago, right? In 2016, that 18,000 naira was $120. As at the beginning of 2019, that amount fell to $50 because of the exchange rate. The minimum wage is now 30,000. In some way, that's good news. But that 30,000 naira is still not up to $100. I'm sorry, but things are not looking good at all. Next on the list is savings. How many young Nigerians save and how much do they have in savings? Let me bust your brain. According to the CBN, just 2% of Nigerians have $500,000 naira or more saved up. 2% pere. So the question is, are millennials poor? What do you think? Now that I've given you all this news, are there any solutions? Is there a way up the ladder or are we all just doomed? That's the point of the Money Show. There are so many ways to improve your life and so many ways to make good money. All these and more we will talk about.